So, hello again. I'm happy to be introducing the last of our Form 4 films today. Shakma is a film about baboons. One little thing about that is that the film is called Shakma. Shakma is a type of baboon, okay? It's called a Shakma baboon. Interestingly, the actor, the baboon in the film, is not a Shakma baboon. Yes. So, as your friendly neighborhood scientist for today, boo, wrong. Okay. It is actually a Hamadryas baboon that they used for the film. And because Hamadryas baboons are so messed up, I decided to talk about them instead of Shakma baboons. Okay, so that's the first myth dispelled today. Now, the first rule of Hamadryas baboons is that they are thieves, okay? They are well known for breaking into human homes and raiding refrigerators and raiding pantries. They can open up windows, they can open up doors, they can get into your car, and they do if there's food in there. If there is food in there, and there is a baboon troop that lives in your town, you are for sure going to meet them at some time. I've seen some videos of people eating dinner at a restaurant, and the baboons will just jump right on the table and steal the food and just just tear it apart. You know, they're vicious. So let's see what else. Okay, so the second rule of Hamadryas baboons is that they are kidnappers. Okay, so the way that Hamadryas family structures work, or troops work, is that there's usually one male, and there are multiple female mates that the male acquires. So the way that works is that the male kidnaps young females and then forces them to become part of their troop. It is extremely hierarchical, and these males are very aggressive and dominant and quite awful. Okay, so that's how they acquire mates. Okay, so I was talking with this primatologist recently who had this video of the baboons have also learned that you can kidnap other things besides female baboons. Okay, so basically what happens is they're all hanging out at this garbage dump because that's where you hang out. It's a cool place when you're a baboon, and then these dogs would come to the garbage dump. Okay, like puppies in particular. So what the baboons have learned to do is to kidnap puppies and then raise them as their own. And then basically what they will do is they will send the puppy out to scout, right, and find food, and then that'll help them to sort of get a larger range of foraging. So that is really interesting. That's what we would call an exaptation. So there's evolutionary adaptation, like I'm going to learn how to kidnap a mate so I can reproduce, right? But exaptation is when you co-opt something that you adapted and use it for something else, right? So you know how to kidnap stuff now, so now you can go out in the world and kidnap other things. So in Tanzania in 2021, these baboons got creative and kidnapped a human child and killed it. Yeah, it was messed up. Yeah. That's it. That was the... yeah, there's no joke there. Okay, so this film in particular is about a hormone, and this hormone is of the glucocorticoid family. It's just like random science words. And it is called corticotropin. Corticotropin. Okay, so here's the deal. I was talking about the hypothalamus earlier, and I'm going to bring it up again, and you're going to remember that word now. So what happens is the hypothalamus releases this hormone called corticotropin-releasing hormone, CRF, okay? That sends a signal to the pituitary gland, which then releases corticotropin, okay? That then goes to the adrenal gland and releases something called cortisol, okay? Cortisol is basically the stress hormone. It is a hormone that kicks up your adrenal system. You become very, very excited. Okay. So the deal with the Hamadryas baboons is, how do you measure cortisol in baboons? If you're a scientist, how do you measure it? What would you do? Blood work? Yeah, if you could. Yeah, good luck catching the baboons to do blood work. Actually, you know what they do? That's a good point. If you want to do blood work, you have to dart them. Yeah, so there's a special darting technique that is passed on from primatologist to primatologist, where they dart them if they want to do blood work. But usually you don't want to have to dart them. What else? How do you measure cortisol in a baboon?
Their buttocks.
Pee.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, poop. Yes, poop. Okay.
Oh, poop. Oh.
Yes,
Yay.
very close.
Teamwork.
Butt and pee, close enough. Just add them together. Okay. So what these primatologists do is they wait for the baboons to go off looking for food, and then they go and they collect a stool sample in their nests or wherever it was that they were sleeping, and that's how they measure cortisol levels. So cortisol, okay, what happens is there's higher cortisol level in subordinate males because they're being tormented by this dominant male that's stressing them out, okay? Humans also have high cortisol levels when they are very stressed out. Okay, so in the film you'll see they're actually manipulating this hormone cascade, and well, you'll see. They'll talk about corticotropin and what they're doing to that poor Hamadryas baboon and not a Shakma baboon. Okay, so this is another thing. So baboons are usually really aggressive. So the neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky, he was sort of monitoring this Kikarok baboon troop in Africa for a very long time. And what happened was they were hanging out at the garbage spot and they ate something that gave them tuberculosis. Okay, so all of the dominant males, especially the aggressive ones, what they usually do is they hoard all the food. So they get tuberculosis and they die. Okay, so what that leaves is a bunch of super chill and nice baboons. Okay, so they develop a culture of not being aggressive. Okay, so it turns out that baboons actually have a culture where they can learn to either be aggressive or non-aggressive. This was a highly unusual thing. We thought this was instinctual and not something that you could potentially learn away. So there are definitely, there's going to be lower cortisol levels in that group, and which means that you're going to have less corticotropin being released. Okay. One more thing also is that it's a little tricky because if you give an animal, like a monkey, corticotropin, like they may be doing in this film, usually they'll become less aggressive. Okay. But it turns out if you give them a shitload, then they'll become aggressive again. So, there's kind of a U-shaped curve there. So a little bit about the film. So the actor, the baboon actor, Typhoon is his name. You actually may recognize him from another film. This is a pretty amazing one. David Cronenberg's The Fly. Same baboon. So you've seen the inside out version of this same baboon we're going to be watching today. Yes. And also apparently Jeff Goldblum learned to assert dominance over the baboon. Oh my god, I just want to see that. I want to know what that looks like. I don't want him to do it to me. Apparently Typhoon was actually still a wild animal on set, right? People didn't necessarily feel safe with Typhoon, except for Jeff Goldblum, of course, they got along. So it turns out that, I'm going to say it. So I was reading about it, okay, and what was his name? One of the people working on the film, Christopher Atkins, he reported that the actresses on set hated the baboon. They all absolutely hated the baboon. And it turns out that whenever anyone was on their period in front of the baboon, it would lose its mind and start becoming violent and aggressive. So here's the trick. This is what I found out, and you wouldn't expect it, is that so the baboon is perceiving, okay, progesterone, which is chemically related to corticosterone, corticotropin, and cortisol. Okay, so in a way, it all ties back to the weird chemical that the movie was about, except in this really unexpected way. So yes, when you're on your period, stay away from the baboons. Thank you.